Hello, and welcome to the Sound of Truth, powered by India People blog. This is about the controversy over India and Nepal border dispute. India and Nepal share very kind and close relations historically. As both of these countries are close to each other, they share their open doors with each other, as well as open borders, and are not limited to this, but also people from both the countries do not require visas to cross each other's borders. Nepal has an area of 147,181 square kilometers and also a population of 29 million. Now, learning about the borders which Nepal shares with India are of over 1,850 kilometers in the east, south, and west, with 5 Indian states, that is Sikkim, West Bengal, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and Uttarakhand, and in the north with the Tibet Autonomous Region of the People's Republic of China. In keeping the age-old tradition and so the deep friendship with the time, approximately 6 million Indians are living in Nepal, including any professionals, traders, businessmen, and also laborers. The Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1950 between India and Nepal serves as the foundation among both the countries. The provision of this treaty ensures that both sides enjoy a win-win relationship. Nepal, being an underdeveloped economy, has benefited a lot from this treaty. Nepal is the only country which recognizes itself as a Hindu state. The bonhomie between the two countries, however, have been strained for the past years, and this situation has deteriorated in the recent past due to political misalignments. India being blamed for the spread of coronavirus in Nepal by the Prime Minister of Nepal highlights the current apathy between the two countries. Border dispute, claiming that India has occupied some regions in the Nepal's territory, is at the center of the current crisis. So let's go back to understand the history of where this all began. This controversy surfaced within the Indian media when Nepal released a new and updated map just a few days back. The new thing about the map was that Nepal included a new area in their map which was not there earlier. In simple terms, the area currently being controlled by India has been included in the new map of Nepal. Originally, this is the easternmost tip of Uttarakhand, which holds an area of around 300 square kilometers. So, when you see the new map, you will find that this area is a triangular shaped disputed area in the northwestern tip of Nepal. The northernmost place is Limpiadhura, the southeast part of the region is the Lipulekh Pass, the Gunji region in the southwest, and Kalapani in the south. This dispute is mainly for Limpiadhura, the northernmost part, Lipulekh, the southeast region, and Kalapani. Both countries claim ownership of the area. So before concluding any answer on this issue, let's try to find out the history behind the disputed land. According to the studies, the controversy began due to the two prominent events back around 6 months. The first event broke out in November 2019 when the BJP government released a new map of India, in which the region of Kalapani was claimed to be under India, that was not approved by the Nepal government. And the second event occurred on 8th May 2020 when the Indian Defence Minister inaugurated a new road map. Nearly 80 kilometers of the road along the India-Nepal border through the disputed area till Lipulekh. Now, the purpose of the road was to assist the people on the Kailash Mansarovar Yatra as per the reports. Kailash Mansarovar is situated in Tibet, which is above the disputed area. Before the construction of this road, it will reach China's border in a car, which will be merely a 2-day trek. But the Nepal government was upset after the inauguration. They believed that the land was theirs and the Indian government should have discussed about the land before the inauguration. But in response to the Nepal statement, External Affairs Ministry of India said that this area comes completely under the area of Indian government, which gives them the power to not hold any consultation and agreement with Nepal. As soon as the statements uplifted, the protests were raised in Nepal regarding the disputed land, on which the army chief said that the protests in Nepal were influenced by China on 15th May, which further raised the issue. And then the Nepal government released their new map, which brought the entire dispute to everyone's attention. So, to learn that to whom this land belongs, firstly, we must learn the history of this border. This story begins in 1800, around 200 years ago, when India was under the British rule. At that time, Britishers were trying to expand towards Nepal, which was under a kingdom rule then, the Kingdom of Gorkha. At that time, a battle took place between the Britishers and Nepal, which is called the Anglo-Nepalese War of 1814. The war raged for almost 2 years, after which they signed a treaty, also known as the Treaty of Sugauli, which went on to decide which areas would be controlled by the Britishers and which would be controlled by the Kingdom of Nepal. According to the above treaty, Nepal lost its area of Sikkim and Darjeeling, which went under the control of Britishers. Nepal's own area was then decided with the help of two rivers. Nepal's western boundary would be along the Mahakali River and the eastern boundary would be along the Mechi River. The interesting part is that even after all this time, the boundaries of India and Nepal are defined by these two rivers. But the main problem arises at the western border of Nepal, which is decided along the Mahakali River. The river splits into two, one in a proper river valley, which is much broader as compared to the other one, which is just thinner and could not be called a river. According to the given situation, the Britishers decided to follow the broader valley as the border of their division. But then, later they found out that the extra land across the valley, which went under the Nepal territory, was adequate and useful for the Britishers to trade with China. So, after 30 to 40 years, they changed their map again, claiming the eastern river to be the boundary in their maps. Being a small piece of land, the Kingdom of Nepal then had no issues giving away the land to the Britishers. They let the land be controlled by the Britishers, and the border was the same till India got their independence from the British rule. Even after Nepal became democratic in 1990, the monarchs didn't have any issues with the unofficial border. Due to the intensified tensions between India and China in the 1960s, which led to the Indo-China War, a military post was established in the area by the Indian Army. Even at that time, a permission was sought from the Nepal monarchy, who had no problem giving away the permission. And ever since that time, the army post has been established there. From 1962, both India and Nepal have been showing Lipu Lake and Kala Pani in their respective maps. But this is the first time when Nepal has shown Limpiadhura region in its map. In 1990, Nepal got its democracy. Since then, as the democratic government had accessed the historical papers, they realized that the area belongs to Nepal and has raised an issue since then. It has been ever since defined as a disputed area. In July 2000, then Prime Minister of India and the Prime Minister of Nepal discussed this issue and tried to solve it. Though they conducted a field survey to understand where the exact boundary would have been in the Kalapani region. But the agreement was put on a hold when India refused to withdraw the army present in the region. After this, India and China signed a trade agreement to use the Lipu Lake Pass as a trade route. From that point onwards, the relationship between India and Nepal started to take a down road. The Prime Minister expressed his resentment over the agreement as they believed that the Kalapani region belonged to Nepal and thus started the protest against both China and India. The question that arises now is that who does the area belong to? Nepal has put an argument that the Sugauli Treaty was the last treaty in which both the sides were in agreement, after which there was no pointing out to where the region belongs. And so, based on the treaty, Nepal is claiming it to be theirs because the treaty defines that the region belongs to them. Thank you so much for listening to The Sound of Truth. This is Pranav Upadhye signing off. See you again.